Welcome back. All right, 3 days worth of games to preview for all you fine people on the internet. It is the most games that I've ever previewed at a time. In fact, it doesn't get encompassed just on this board. There's a board behind this where I've got 4 more games that are of the Sunday variety. So today we've got 8 games, 4 starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, 2 an hour later, 1 an hour and a half after that, and 1 an hour after that. So nicely spread out. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between Chicago and Buffalo. These teams met October 19th in Chicago. Buffalo won that matchup 4-2. Chicago's 12, 21, and 2 so far this season, whereas Buffalo 12, 19, and 4. So both of these teams looking to improve their records. Bertuzzi, 10 goals, 7 assists, 17 points, has been good lately. So is Bedard. 9 goals, 21 assists, 30 points so far this season for Bedard. On the Buffalo side, Zucker, 9 goals, 14 assists, 23 points. JJ Peterka, 10 goals, 15 assists for 25 points. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings. Toronto, 21, 12, and 2 on the season. Detroit, 13, 17, and 4. November 8th, Toronto won this matchup 3-1. December 14th, Detroit won this matchup 4-2. These teams meet again on April the 17th. On the Toronto side, Nylander, 23 goals, 17 assists for 40 points. And Mitch Marner, 10 goals, 36 assists for 46 points. On the Detroit side, Raymond, 13 goals, 20 assists, 33 points. And Patrick Kane, 5 goals, 9 assists for 14 points as he looks to get things into that next gear. And, of course, it's a new era for Detroit that starts today. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between Carolina and New Jersey. This is the third of 4 meetings, and they meet again tomorrow. So there's a lot of back-to-backs, something to keep in mind here. This is not my first take. Carolina 21, 12, and 1 overall, whereas New Jersey 23, 11, and 3 overall. On October 15th, Carolina's won this matchup 4-2. On November 21st, New Jersey won this matchup 4-2, and these teams meet again tomorrow. So on the Carolina side, Natchez, 14 goals, 30 assists, 44 points. His production has dropped off recently, but he's still got 44 points so far this year. Roslovic, 14 goals, 6 assists for 20 points. On the New Jersey side, Hischier, who started off as one of the top goal scorers, he's not that far off, but 17 goals, 16 assists, 33 points for him. It's unlikely he ends up, getting back in the running for top goal scorer, but we'll see. Timo Meier, 13 goals, 14 assists, 27 points for him. New Jersey, pretty solid all around and playing really, really well. This should be a fun matchup. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between Boston and Columbus. It is a rare occasion where I wear Boston for a preview, but I figure they have back-to-backs against Columbus, so if they don't win either of them, we're proving I have a jinxing power. November 18th, 5-1 win for Columbus. And again, these teams meet today and tomorrow. On the Boston side, they're 19, 13, and 4 this season. Columbus 14, 15, and 6. On the Boston side, Marchand, 15 goals, 15 assists, 30 points. He's, of course, on a 10-game point streak. Lindholm, 6 goals, 12 assists for 18 points. Lindholm's been better lately. I don't think he's ever going to get the production up to where it was a few years back, but he's played well recently. Sillinger, 6 goals, 14 assists for 20 points on the Columbus side, and Marchenko, 13 goals, 24 assists for 37 points. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific start between Nashville and St. Louis. This is the first of 4 meetings. They'll meet again March 18th, March 23rd, and March 27th, meaning they'll get tired of each other in March. Nashville 11, 17, and 7 overall, whereas St. Louis 16, 16, and 4. One of these teams has changed their coach. The other one has not. On the Nashville side, Forsberg, 9 goals, 20 assists, 29 points. He's on a 5. In his last 5 games, he's had 10 assists. That's the best way of putting it. O'Reilly, 8 goals, 12 assists, 20 points for him so far this season. On the St. Louis side, Kyrou, 14 goals, 15 assists, 29 points. And Holloway, 13 goals, 9 assists, 22 points. I think both of the offer sheets have aged pretty well for St. Louis, but Holloway's been really productive. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific start between the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars. This is the second of 4 meetings. They met November 15th. Dallas won that matchup 2-1. These teams then meet again March 24th and April the 6th. Minnesota 21, 10, and 4 overall. Dallas 20 and 13. Kaprizov 23 goals, 27 assists for 50 points. You know what you're getting with Kirill Kaprizov, one of the best players in the league. Boldy, 13 goals, 17 assists, 30 points. I think Boldy can produce at a higher rate. Absolutely. And then Dallas. Roope Hintz, 15 goals, 6 assists, 21 points. Esa Lindell, who of course has been named to 4 Nations, 2 goals, 9 assists, 11 points, as well as Roope Hintz, right? So yeah, Dallas, We'll see how they do at home tonight against a Minnesota team that had been struggling going into the break. 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific start between Colorado and Utah. So this is the third and final meeting. On October 24th, Colorado won 5-1. On December 12th, Utah won 4-1. Colorado is 21-15 on the season. Utah is 16-12-6. On the Colorado side, McKinnon, 14 goals, 43 assists for 57 points. Kivi Ranta, 10 goals, 2 assists for 12 points. On the Utah side, Schmaltz, 5 goals to go with 22 assists for 27 points. And Logan Cooley, 8 goals to go with 22 assists for 30 points. 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific start between the Vegas Golden Knights and the San Jose Sharks. So this is the second of 3 meetings on October 22nd. Vegas won 7-3. These teams meet again on January the 7th, so it's not long before their final meeting. Vegas is 23-8-3 on the season. San Jose 11-20-6. On the Vegas side, Eichel, 9 goals, 36 assists for 45 points. Hurdle, 10 goals, 14 assists, 24 points for Hurdle. On the San Jose side, Cunnin, 10 goals, 6 assists, 16 points. And Toffoli, 13 goals, 10 assists for 23 points for Tyler Toffoli. 8 games tonight. Let me know your winners in those ones, and let us go ahead and move along to Saturday as well. 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. There's just one game starting that early tomorrow. It is Montreal and Florida. Should be fun. First of 4 meetings. They meet again March 15th, March the 30th, and April the 1st. Montreal 14-17-3 overall, whereas Florida 22-12-2. On the Montreal side, Caulfield, 17 goals, 15 assists, 32 points. Evans, 8 goals, 13 assists for 21 points. On the Florida side, Reinhart, 22 goals, 23 assists, 45 points. Has had quite the run. Lundell not scoring as well as he did, say, when Barkov was out, but we knew that was going to happen when Barkov came back. 8 goals, 15 assists, 23 points. Lundell is very much a two-way forward who, if he's not scoring, he is still very useful for your team. So we have definitely seen that from him lately. And then there's 3 of them starting at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. So I will review these 4 games before the evening games get started, or do my best to get most of the review done before those games get started. But either way, makes it for a bit of a shorter night for me. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific start between Seattle and Vancouver, the rare matinee game at home for the Vancouver Canucks. Seattle's 15-19-2 on the season. Vancouver 17-10-7. This is the first of 4 meetings. They'll meet again January 2nd, March the 1st, and April the 2nd. On the Seattle side, former Canuck Jared McCann, 12 goals, 15 assists, 27 points. Capo Caco, 5 goals, 10 assists for 15 points. On the Vancouver side, Pettersson, 10 goals, 18 assists for 28 points. And Jake DeBrusk, 15 goals, 10 assists, 25 points. DeBrusk's been very productive recently, and we'll see what he does against Seattle. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific start between Philadelphia and Anaheim. This is the first of 2 meetings. They'll meet again in Philadelphia on January the 11th. Philadelphia 15-16-4. Anaheim 13-16-4 on the season. On Philadelphia side, Konechny 16 goals, 25 assists, 41 points. Very reliable scorer. Michkov 11 goals, 16 assists for 27 points. On the Anaheim side, Troy Terry 9 goals, 16 assists, 25 points. And Leo Carlsson 7 goals, 5 assists, 12 points. Don't be surprised if he breaks out. He's been getting a lot of opportunities recently. And also at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, the Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings. So this is the first of 4 meetings. They meet again January 13th, April the 5th, and April the 14th. The Oilers 21-11-2. The Kings 19-10-5. I do expect the dislike between these teams to ramp up very quickly in this one. Draisaitl, 24 goals, 28 assists, 52 points for him so far this season. Zach Hyman, 13 goals, 6 assists for 19 points. On the LA side, Kopitar, 10 goals, 27 assists for 37 points. And Kevin Fiala, 13 goals, 8 assists for 21 points. Then we get into the Eastern games. We've got 5 games starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, 1.5 hour later. And then we have 1 West Coast game. Just the one. So, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between Columbus and Boston. So the second of back-to-backs here. As previously mentioned, November 18th, Columbus won this matchup 5-1. Columbus 14-15-6. Boston 19-13-4. Those records will change from their game tonight into their game tomorrow. On the Columbus side, Voronkov 10 goals, 9 assists, 19 points. Sean Monahan's been quite good for them as a pickup. 11 goals, 20 assists for 31 points so far this season for Monahan. On the Boston side, Pasternak 12 goals, 23 assists, 35 points. And Lowry, 1 goal, 14 assists, 15 points for Lowry, who I think is mildly underrated. in Boston. 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific start between Washington and Toronto. On November 13th, the Toronto Maple Leafs won this matchup 4-3 in overtime. On December the 6th, Washington won 3-1. Washington 23-9-2 on the season. Toronto, as previously mentioned, 21-12-2. So they go from being in Detroit to hosting the Washington Capitals. On the Washington side, Strome, 11 goals, 27 assists, 38 points. McMichael, 16 goals, 13 assists for 29 points. On the Toronto side, Tavares, 17 goals, 17 assists, 34 points. I did see some, like an article that was titled, turning back the clock, Tavares. He's not that old. Like, it's so weird to see that with him scoring. And, as he's turning back the clock. He's not that old. Nyes, 11 goals, 8 assists, 19 points. Matthew Nyes, very visible in every Toronto game, and at some point, the points totals are going to go through the roof. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the New York Rangers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is the first of 3 meetings. They meet again April 7th and April 17th. New York Rangers really needed that break. They're 16-17-1 this season. Not great. Tampa Bay 19-11-2, playing pretty darn well going into the break themselves. Will Cooley, 11 goals, 13 assists, 24 points. Zibanejad, the subject of a lot of rumors, ridicule, scoring, you name it. 6 goals, 15 assists, 21 points for Zibanejad so far this season. On the Tampa Bay side, Point, 22 goals, 17 assists, 39 points for him. Gensel, 19 goals, 16 assists, 35 points. Gensel's been a fantastic pickup. So far, it definitely looks like they made the right call with moving on from Stamkos, picking up Gensel, as painful as that was at the time. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start, as well as New Jersey and Carolina meet again. So you go from being in New Jersey to being in Carolina. This is the last meeting, so October 15th. Carolina wins 4-2. November 21st, New Jersey wins 4-2, and they round it out tomorrow. New Jersey, as previously mentioned, 23-11-3. Carolina, again, as previously mentioned, 21-12-1. On the New Jersey side, Dawson Mercer, 8 goals, 10 assists, 18 points. And Stefan Nason, career year for him already. 16 goals, 9 assists, 25 points. On the Carolina side, Aho, 11 goals, 25 assists, 36 points. And Orlov, 3 goals, 13 assists, 16 points. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between Ottawa and Winnipeg. So this is the first of 2 meetings. They'll meet again in Ottawa on February 26th. The Sens are 18-14-2. The Jets are 25-10-1. Claude Giroux, 8 goals, 14 assists, 22 points for him. Brady Tkachuk, 16 goals, 17 assists, 33 points. On the Winnipeg side, Scheifele, 21 goals, 21 assists, 42 points. Very consistent numbers from Scheifele. Nothing new there. Kyle Connor, 21 goals, 26 assists for 47 points. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific start between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Islanders. This is the second of 4 meetings between these teams. On November 5th, the Islanders won in overtime 4-3. These teams meet again December 29th and March the 18th, meaning this is the first of back-to-back meetings as well. So Pittsburgh 16-15-5. The Islanders are 13-15-7 on the season. On the Pittsburgh side, Rust, 15 goals, 12 assists, 27 points. Raquel, 16 goals, 13 assists, 29 points. Both of those players on hot streaks right now. On the Islanders side, Horvat, 9 goals, 16 assists, 25 points. And Brock Nelson, 10 goals, 10 assists for 20 points. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific start between the Calgary Flames and the San Jose Sharks. So the Sharks go from hosting Vegas to hosting Calgary. This is the first of 4 meetings as well. February 23rd, April 7th, and April the 13th, Calgary and San Jose meet again. Calgary 16-11-7 overall. San Jose 11-20-6. Calgary, of course, needs this win. In order to keep themselves up and near that playoff line, they've got to get wins a little more regularly than they have been. Calgary, Huberdeau, 13 goals, 12 assists, 25 points for him. And Kadri, 13 goals, 9 assists, 22 points. On the San Jose side of things, Celebrini, 11 goals, 14 assists, 25 points. Zetterlund, 11 goals, 13 assists, 24 points for Fabian Zetterlund. 3 Eastern, wait, nope, that's a Sunday game. So let's go ahead. I even changed colors and everything, and I still, let's just keep going. No, that's Sunday. So I write down the timestamp, and now we get into the Sunday games where we have 9 games on Sunday. The first game starts at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, and then we have an hour later, 2 games there. So they're all early games though, so that's kind of fun. So at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, the Buffalo Sabres, who had hosted Chicago on Friday, will now be in St. Louis. St. Louis having hosted Nashville. So for St. Louis, these are a couple of important games here. If they can win at home against Nashville and Buffalo, and those are winnable games, right, then you're keeping yourself in the hunt. And if they lose those games, then we'll have a whole other discussion. So November 14th, Buffalo wins in overtime 4-3 between these two. We'll see what happens in St. Louis. On the Buffalo side, Alex Tuch, 9 goals, 16 assists, 25 points. Owen Power, 5 goals, 17 assists, 22 points. Has been quite productive lately. On the St. Louis side, Jake Neighbors, 10 goals, 7 assists, 17 points. And Parayko, 5 goals, 13 assists, 18 points. He's having an amazingly solid season, really, on the blue line for St. Louis thus far. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific start between the Oilers and the Ducks. So this is the first of 4 meetings. They'll meet again January 3rd, March the 4th, and April the 7th. On the Edmonton side, they're 21-11-2 so far this season, as mentioned here. So they go from LA to Anaheim. Anaheim, after hosting Philly, hosting the Oilers. The Ducks are 13-6-4, as previously mentioned. On the Edmonton side, McDavid, 15 goals, 34 assists for 49 points. And Bouchard, 6 goals, 19 assists for 25 points for Evan Bouchard. On the Anaheim side, Gauthier, 4 goals, 10 assists, 14 points for Cutter. And Killorn, 7 goals, 8 assists, 15 points for Alex Killorn so far this season. 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific start between the Washington Capitals and the Detroit Red Wings. This is the first of 3 meetings. They'll meet again March 7th and March 18th. The Washington Capitals, 23-9-2 overall. Detroit, 13-17-4. So Detroit hosts Toronto, then they host Washington. As I mentioned in the video I made yesterday on the firing of Derek Lalonde and going to McClellan, they have not given McClellan an easy couple of games to get himself ramped up and get this team going. So Detroit 13-17-4, as I previously mentioned. On the Washington side, Tom Wilson, 13 goals, 11 assists, 24 points. And Dubois, 5 goals, 21 assists, 26 points. I don't know how much better Dubois is playing in Washington than he played elsewhere. I think the pressure is just not as high. I think the expectations have been lowered a bit, and I don't think there's a lot of pressure on him. On the Detroit side, DeBrincat, 13 goals, 12 assists, 25 points. They definitely need more from their star players, including DeBrincat. And Seider, 4 goals, 14 assists, 18 points for Moritz Seider. 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific start between the Montreal Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning. So for Tampa, they go from hosting the Rangers to hosting Montreal. Montreal, on the other hand, goes from Florida to Tampa. So this is going to be a good test for the Habs, isn't it? This is the first of 3 meetings. They meet again January 21st and February 9th. Montreal 14-17-3 on the season. Tampa Bay 19-11-2. Lane Hudson's been excellent recently. 2 goals, 24 assists, 26 points for him overall. Armia, 6 goals, 10 assists, 16 points. Deserves to be thrown on the board because I think Armia's played pretty well. On the Tampa Bay side, Kucherov, 15 goals, 35 assists, 50 points for him. Just quietly having a 50-point season already. And Nick Paul, 8 goals, 11 assists, 19 points. Very useful player for Tampa Bay who can play up and down the lineup. 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific start between the Islanders and the Penguins. So this is the second half of a back-to-back. As previously mentioned, the Islanders 13-15-7. The Penguins 16-15-5. On November 5th, it was a shootout victory for the Islanders, 4-3. And again, these teams meet on March the 18th to close out the 4-game set between them. On the Islanders side, Pajot, 7 goals, 10 assists, 17 points for Pajot. Dobson, 5 goals, 14 assists, 19 points for him. He's been productive recently. On the Pittsburgh side, Crosby, 7 goals, 22 assists, 29 points. Or Malkin, I should say, has 7 goals, 22 assists, 29 points. Crosby has 10 goals, 39 assists, or 29 assists for 39 points. See, my brain just decides I'm going to wind down now. We're coming up to the end of the board, so I'm just going to wind down. You don't need me anymore. If you need me, I'll be in the back. Like, it's crazy how the brain just decides to do that, and now I do need to change boards. All right, so 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific start between the Ottawa Senators and the Minnesota Wild. So Ottawa 18-14-2 overall, Minnesota 21-10-4. These teams will meet again in Ottawa on February the 1st. On the Ottawa side, Batherson, 13 goals, 21 assists, 34 points. Josh Norris, 13 goals as well, but only the 8 assists for 21 points. On the Minnesota side, Rossi, 12 goals, 16 assists, 28 points. And Brock Faber, who's been fantastic again, 4 goals, 14 assists, 18 points for Faber. Also at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, the Calgary Flames in Vegas to play the Vegas Golden Knights. On October 28th, Vegas won this matchup 5-0. These teams meet again April 5th and April 15th. Calgary 16-11-7 overall. Vegas 23-8-5. On the Calgary side, Zary 8 goals, 12 assists, 20 points for Connor. Mackenzie Weegar 4 goals, 14 assists, 18 points for Weegar. On the Vegas side, Howden 13 goals, 3 assists, 16 points. Kolasar 9 goals, 6 assists, 15 points. And both of them are excellent examples of the depth scoring that Vegas has, which is part of the reason why they're in the place that they are in the standings. 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific start between Dallas and Chicago. So this is the fourth and final meeting. October 26th, Dallas won 4-2. November 7th, Dallas won 3-1. November 27th, Chicago won 6-2. So Dallas needs to watch out for that. Dallas 20-13 overall. Chicago 12-21-2. On the Dallas side, Duchesne's cooled off, but he's still their leading scorer. 13 goals, 17 assists, 30 points. Harley, 4 goals, 11 assists, 15 points for him on the blue line. On the Chicago side, Taylor Hall, 7 goals, 11 assists, 18 points. Donato, 11 goals, 9 assists, 20 points. One thing that seems to have changed with Chicago since the coaching change is it does feel like the scoring is a little more plentiful around Chicago. It just feels that way anyways. Not sure if that's necessarily the case, but it feels like they've scored better under the new coach. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific start between Philadelphia and LA. Philadelphia 15-16-4 overall, coming off of a game against Anaheim. LA, who had just hosted Edmonton, will now host Philly, and it's a 19-10-5 LA Kings team as of the record before the game against Edmonton, of course, because I'm not psychic. Sadly, my powers have not arrived yet. December 19th, LA won this matchup 7-3 in Philly, so Philly will be looking for a measure of revenge. Couturier, 7 goals, 11 assists, 18 points. Owen Tippett, 11 goals, 11 assists, 22 points. Both of them players who are very prominent during games. It just doesn't show up on the score sheet as much as it probably should. And then on the LA side, Danault, 3 goals, 14 assists, 17 points. I would think more goals from Danault would be preferable. Brant Clark, 3 goals, 16 assists, 19 points for Clark. Not looking for goals from him. The points totals are good. And so, yeah, we'll see how things go. So let me know your predictions for who you think is going to win the 28 games on the two boards. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.